Well, finally. It's like 52 degrees out here, finally. What is this, April? I think it's like April 13th or something like that. Thursday, anyway, in April. And we've been getting all kinds of snow, and it's like been like 25 degrees, 20 degrees, 12 degrees, tons of snow, and it's finally broke. And we are now cleared off with no snow, 52 degrees, and it's time to work on motorcycles again and ride them. Time to ride motorcycles and occasionally work on them. So today's question that came up on our VentureRider.org clubhouse wall question by GeoBob has to do with Ventures. Okay, First Gen Ventures had this thing called a reserve lighting unit. Okay, and what a reserve lighting unit does, or what this one does anyway. Unlike what most of us think, that these engineers designed the RLU, reserve lighting unit, RLU, what most of us, a lot of us say that the RLU was made for, was to kind of be a nuisance, like mosquitoes, like a mosquito. What? Constantly bugging you? But then other people are like, the more safety conscious people are like, no, it's a good idea, okay? And they really like the RLU idea. So here's what it is, okay? It's an electronic device, cube-shaped device that you plug in. That what it does is, if you're driving along and your headlight has a problem, okay, let's say you're running on low beams and you lose the low beam, okay? The low beam light goes out, you lose an element or something. Don't bother me. I'm just a figment of your illumination. No longer. So you lose that low beam. An RLU unit, a reserve lighting unit, what it does is it automatically, instantly turns on your high beams. So you have headlights. So you don't even, it's just a flick and it's on. You're not riding along with no headlight on. Okay? That's what it's for. All right? And in these Yamahas, you notice this. Not only do they have a computer monitoring system that, here, let me turn this on, that goes through, see right here? See this right there? Okay? Well, the headlights have, right there it goes, has a check system there too, okay? But it also has this little light on the dash, okay? And it says headlamp on it. And what happens is when that, if you have a failure of a headlight and your RLU is activated, so it does its thing, that little light right there will come on white. All right, another nuisance. Okay. Now a lot of people, myself included, I'm more of a put a piece of duct tape over the top and keep on riding kind of guy, or take the stupid thing out and get rid of it, and just, I don't like all this fancy schmancy stuff, I give me a switch. If my headlight goes out, I'm smart enough to reach over and just click on my high beam if I need to, or click on my low beam, or stop and get a flashlight out if both of them go out, so I can get home, whatever. But okay, it's a safety device. So the question today that was posted in the water hole or wherever by GeoBob, a friend of mine, by one of our club members, and it's a good question, is about that RLU unit, okay? He's questioning where it's at and how do you get to it, okay? All right, so I've replaced mine a couple of different times because I got tired of dealing with the lights on the dash. And some people deal with the RMU, I think, because they put LED lights. They switch these things over so they get better lights. And the RLU doesn't necessarily like LED lights. So you got to do some jumpering around on it and stuff to bypass it if you want to run LEDs and stuff. But that's neither here nor there. What this is about where is the RLU and how do you get to it? Okay, so here we go. First thing you have to do is you have to remove this cover. See this cover on your around your headlight? Okay. Now there's two little screws. There's two little screws underneath here that you pull. Excuse me. Here's one, and here's one. You see them? There's one, and there's one. And you know, I'm not going to take this thing apart to show this. I mean, it's been a while since I had one apart, but it's possible that you have to take a couple of the windshield screws out too, but I don't think so. I think it's just those two little screws down there at the bottom, and then that cover, this cover, and that glass, this cover with that glass in it pops out. Okay, that'll just pop out whole. Okay, and then what you're going to find is this kind of a look. Okay, and then what you do is you pull this screw and this screw out of the headlight. Yeah, right there. Okay, there's that. Now, and you unplug your headlight, give it a whip. No, you don't want to do that because you'll really do some damage. Okay, then get that aside. So you got your headlight unplugged. Okay. Now, if you look with me down inside here for just a second. See if we can all see this thing. This could get difficult in here. Just a minute. I'm trying to turn the light on here. Give us some extra light inside here. But you see this? You see this? Can you see this plug right here? Can you see that plug right there that I'm pointing to with my screwdriver? That's the plug for the RLU. And the RLU hangs, hold on a minute here, hangs right here on this little bracket. Okay, now I'm going to put my screwdriver on the face of the RLU where the wiring harness, see that wires right there? Those wires right there, those lead down to the RLU, okay? Now, if you need to take that unit out of there to replace it, hey, you can do that. It's a simple thing. Not really. It's kind of tight in there, but for anybody that's worked on these motorcycles, cramped spaces, especially these tour bikes. I had a Honda. It was Honda's first shot at fuel injection on a Goldwing. Was like mid-80s. I think it was 85, and I think it was called like an LE or an SE or something like that. Goldwing, and I nicknamed it. I redid the bike for resale, okay, and I nicknamed the bike the Space Shuttle. I did. You should have seen the wiring harness in this thing. I'm not joking. It was like probably 4 to 6 inches in diameter. They were just solid wires. It was unbelievable. It really was. I mean, this thing had more garbage on it. It's like 100,000 times an RLU, okay? There was so much stuff on this bike. Ridiculous. I'm like, it's, what people, a motor and 2 wheels, motorcycle. What have we come to? But anyway, of course, that's just, I'm very opinionated. So anyway, you know, if you want to pop that out of there, all you do is put a screwdriver in there beside it and push on it, or put your finger in there and push on it, and there's a little rack. You can probably see this other ice cube hanging down here. See it down here? They're just hanging on a rack, and you just slide the thing off the rack. You want me to do it? All right, let me see here. I can't do it with hanging onto the screwdriver, but you can slide that off the rack and pull that whole cube right out of there. Okay. You might not, depending on what you're going to do, Bob. Depending on what your plan is for that RLU, you may not even have to take. You're going to be jumpering. This is the connector right here. See it? See that I'm pushing on with the screwdriver? That right there is the connector that you're going to be jumpering with, okay? Or jumpering to. Whatever Vaz or the rest of the gangs are talking about, you jumpering that RLU, well, you don't have to take the RLU all the way out. And I've done it before. It's doable right from here. But you don't have to, because the plug-in for it, the wire harness, is right here, okay? So you can do all the jumpering you want right there, all right? That's that guy, and you see it. It's coming right from the cube, all right, right there. right there. Let's get this thing out of the way here. Again, right there. There's the wire harness. Just follow it up from the face of the, there's the RLU. From the face of the RLU, just follow the wire harness up, and you will see, sitting right there in front of you, there's the terminal for it. You just unplug it and go to town and do all the jumpering you want. Okay? There we go. How's that sound? And then, of course, put your bike back together. Old tweaks here. She's not going to get put back together again. Man, I got a bad knee. Been a long winter, guys. Oh, there we go. So anyway, I hope this helps somebody out there in identifying this thing someplace, somehow. And get your bike done. Almost hot dog time. We're going to all get together and get out and ride, right? Get out and ride. Talk to you soon.